Welcome to another episode of Billievers Talk with Steve and Joe.
I'm Steve.
That makes me Joe. So in this episode, we want to talk to you more about the defensive side of the ball. The previous episode, we talked about free agency. We talked about the Bills in the larger scope, who's all going to be free agents. And if you watched that episode, you know that we have a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah.
So in this episode, we're going to talk more about just the defensive side of the ball, what we saw last year, who we like, who we want to keep, and maybe where we're going to shop for those holes to be filled. But before we do that, I ask that you please subscribe to our channel. We will continue to give you hopefully great Bills content week after week with news, team news, things like that. Also with NFL news. Recently, things added in the NFL or just news throughout the week. So we'll start there today. So if you want to get us up to date on what happened in the NFL.
Well, Frank Reich became the Colts head coach, which benefits us because we get to keep Leslie Frazier.
Yeah.
So good luck to Frank Reich.
Absolutely.
I like
Absolutely.
him. PA boy, former Bill.
Yeah.
Really like him. So best of luck to him.
Yep.
And bonus, it gets to help us.
Yeah, we get to keep Leslie Frazier, which to us is a big deal.
Yeah, and with all the free agents, as we'll go over here in the defensive side of the ball, how much turnover we'll think that there'll be on that defensive side. It really helped keeping that continuity together.
Yeah, keep the same scheme. Like you said, the continuity between him and McDermott, they seem to work well together. And so, we like that.
And keep a little pressure off McDermott. He won't have to worry about the defensive side as much as his head coaching.
Yeah, responsibilities.
Yep.
Right.
And, if he needs to, he can lean on Frazier because of the former head coach.
Yeah.
And kind of knows some things and can help him out.
Frazier's been around for a while. And the coach who's going to take over, more than likely, our linebackers coach, he's been around a little bit too. But just to have that veteran guy who's been from head coach to defensive coordinator and back and forth, just so like Leslie Frazier also understands the pressures under Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
He kind of understands that, and that's why I think they work so well together. And like you said, that continuity is very important. And so we wish Frank Reich the best of luck with the Colts, except for whenever we play them. But we do wish him best of luck in Indianapolis. So good luck to him. The next story would have been the McCarron.
Yeah.
McCarron won his appeal, which now makes him a unrestricted free agent compared to a restricted free agent. So I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, if he would have been a restricted free agent, they would have placed a tag on him, whether it be a first round tenure, second round tenure.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have done the original because he's the type of player you would tenure. As a quarterback, it's either first or second.
Yeah.
And if it would have been second, maybe somebody would have swooped in and tried to sign him.
Absolutely.
So it benefits him because now he can go wherever he wants to, and he can, visit teams, or he can work out a nice contract for wherever he wants to.
He can shop around. Last year, during free agency, or maybe it was 2 years ago, people were talking about him as a possible starter somewhere. So he didn't really get that shot. So with Cincinnati, so now he's gonna possibly get that shot.
Yeah, he gets his shot somewhere, and that could help Buffalo, or it might not. I mean, it's another free agent quarterback out on the market.
Right.
So we'll see where that goes, and we'll talk more in depth with that about when we do the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, next episode we'll talk about the offense a little bit more. He can affect the Bills, not just by us signing him, but possibly another team not needing a quarterback. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But today we're going to focus on the defense. And speaking of the defense, Vonte Davis. Yeah,
his first free agent visit. Was with the Bills, so that's a little bit,
it's nice. It's nice to have the first pick. Yeah, I got you. Like it's nice. It's nice to be the first team to be visited. Obviously, he wouldn't sign with us right away. Vonte Davis was released week 5 or 6 last year. Basically, he was not signed by a team at the end of the season last year, and since he was not signed, he can kind of shop around early. Most free agents are not able to shop around until March 12th. Well, here we are about a month early. Yeah. And so obviously he's going to check around. So
we had his first visit. He came and gone.
Yep.
They probably did a physical to check out, make sure, because he did have a groin injury last year.
Right.
He had surgery.
Yep.
He took a visit yesterday with Cleveland.
Yep.
So, and I think he probably has 2 or 3 more.
Sure.
So now he can just gauge his market before any of the other corners are out there, see what it'll be. Maybe it'll be higher now because he can sign right away.
Yep.
Maybe he'll wait into free agency and see where some of the other corners go.
Yeah.
But that's a player that could help us out to begin with. And another thing that I read is because he was a free agent last year, didn't sign with anybody.
Right.
If we were to sign him this year, he'd be a starter for us.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't go into the comp pick
situation.
Okay.
So we wouldn't owe anything.
He wouldn't count in that because they go by the players you lose and players you sign. Yeah. He wouldn't go into that equation. So we basically get a starter for free. Like we wouldn't have to worry about the comp pick. We could still get comp picks by losing AJ Gaines or something like that. So it's a nice little bonus. If they were to sign him, I think it would be nice. It'd probably be a 2-year deal. Yeah. He's right around 30, so.
So, but yeah, if we go over our cornerbacks, which we're about to do, we're going to start on the outside, work our way in on the defense. So we're going to start with cornerback. So if you want to list some of the cornerbacks we have now.
The cornerbacks technically on a roster are Beyond Borders, who played for us at the end of the last year, played the Jacksonville game. Special teams had like 2 or 3 penalties. I mean, he'll probably be a 5th corner if he stays on the roster. EJ Gaines, who's a free agent. Everybody knows about EJ Gaines. He played really good for us. He was out 5 games this year. In and out of a couple other games where he did start. Missed 2 years ago with the Rams.
St. Louis.
With St. Louis. So he's had some injury problems, but he was our starting corner, very good for us.
Yeah, he was.
Leonard Johnson, who's another free agent, who was our starting nickel corner. He doesn't get the stats for starting games, but he did play in all 16 games. Yes, technically a starter because he's our nickel corner. Very good corner. I can see us getting him back. Lafayette Pitts, who is a exclusive restricted free agent. So if we want him, we get him. He has to sign the contract, and if we don't, then he goes into free agency like everybody else. Tre'Davious White, everybody knows Tre'Davious White.
Absolutely.
Or stud first round pick last year. So Sharice Wright would be your other corner. He's also a free agent. So that right there is our cornerbacks that we have technically on our roster. They're players. Until the league year, and then the free agents go into free agency. But
so basically, we only have one starter from last year, which is White coming back this year. So the cornerback position is a position of need for us. So like you said, Johnson was a great slot corner for us last year and previously, right? He was here.
No, he was in Carolina the year before with McDermott. That's why
bring in.
The strong ties. I feel they work out a deal with Leonard Johnson, get him back. Whether it's a 2 or 3 year deal, he is 27, so he has some mileage on him, but he's still a really good corner. And in the zone system that we run,
and
he knows his
stuff.
He knows his scheme. He's
like
good.
You said, he comes from Carolina, so he knows the scheme. There's ties between McDermott and him, so keeping him would be not a pressing need, but it would be nice to see.
Especially if you're going to lose Gaines. To have your nickel corner, and a lot of the defenses now, because it is a passing league, they do run nickel and dime a lot.
All the time.
So to have your nickel corner, it'd be a big help for us going into free agency, because then EJ Gaines, I just feel he's going to command too much money. So I feel we're going to lose him. And then you got to fill that other need. And, there's some other corners out there. Malcolm Butler. Maybe he wants to stick it to New England besides Buffalo. I mean, I don't know. I'm up in the air about him.
I just don't know what kind of money he'll be asking for. Like his deal with New England was when you re-signed with New England, right after the interception, like the only thing that he's known for. But I don't know what kind of money and what he'll be interested in. And again, with the cap situation, I'm not sure if that's something we could do.
And the whole situation of at the Super Bowl. Why he was benched. And it goes back and forth. Belichick says we give the best players out there the best way to win, and and then there was he broke curfew. He got popped with marijuana, and he came out and said no, that didn't happen. It just seemed like that marriage in New England was really odd for the past 2 years because they were trying to deal him, but they couldn't deal him. And then they franchised him, and
they got Stephon Gilmore, and everyone thought, well, he's definitely gone. And so I don't know how I feel about that. Like you said, with so many question marks surrounding him, it'd be really tough to merit signing. But another good thing about Leonard Johnson is with EJ Gaines going, like, we do need someone who knows the system because we're bringing in a lot of new guys now, and so we do need someone. And Tre'Davious White still, last year was his rookie year, so he's a younger player. So to keep someone like Johnson in here, I think is important. And then we look at Vonte Davis, who had a visit. You can look at some of the other free agents out there to get your second corner. So
I mean, and that's something that, we stay put at 21, 22. Maybe it's something we fill with Josh Jackson out of Iowa. I like him. Or Mike Hughes out of Central Florida. Maybe you can get those guys there if you want to go kind of the route that you did with Tre'Davious White last year. Draft somebody later. You can always trade for a player, whether you find somebody you like or something like that. The good thing too is it's more of his own defense, so the man coverage skills helps you, but it's not. You don't need to shut down a corner. You can get somebody to play zone and understand the scheme, and it'll benefit you that way too.
But that's a big plus about that coverage scheme is you don't need that one guy.
But I think the secondary, as far as the backups, will be remade. I mean, Tre'Davious White is going to be there. I believe Leonard Johnson will be there. You're going to have to fill your second corner spot and get a couple backups there at the corner back. Going into safeties, you have Poyer and Hyde. Obviously, we're set there.
We're set on Poyer and Hyde. But if you want to talk about the other ones, we have a couple more on the roster here.
Dean Marlowe, they signed him to a future free agent. Kelsey McCray, another future free agent, and AJ McCarron. They all signed future deals, so they're on our roster next year. Not much there. You have Colt Anderson and Shamarko Thomas from last year. They're going to be free agents. So maybe we re-sign those guys for the depth, the knowledge of the system, and they both played special teams. So I think that's and as your backup safeties, that's what you mostly are. They're going to be able to help out the players by knowing the system and by being able to play special teams.
Like you said, we're set at the safety position as long as Hyde and Poyer stay healthy. That's a big key, right? Last year during the Jacksonville game in the playoffs, Hyde went out not once but twice, and so that kind of left us with a little bit of a hole. So to have a guy come in again, though, not a pressing need. We can find a free agent for cheap probably if we want to, or like you said, re-sign Colt Anderson. Who can fill that void a little bit.
He's been in Buffalo the past 2 years. He's been a special team player. He plays some safety, but he's been injured a lot. And that's the thing that hurts him. He's very versatile, but health-wise, he can't stay on the field. And that's something that McDermott puts high priority in. If you're versatile, and if you can stay on the field. And, Anderson just hasn't been able to do that. I can see them trying to keep him because you need a third and fourth safety just as a backup.
Just a backup and for that special teams. You do need those. So so we can keep them, or move on to free agency or something. But we're not gonna spend high priority on the safeties.
But in the secondary, you're looking at 3 of your, we'll say 5 starters because I put the nickel corner
Johnson
in there as a starter. So 3 of your starters are coming back.
Probably 4 with Johnson. We both think Johnson will come back.
Gets a deal and he'll be back. So you'll get your second corner, and then you just need depth behind there. So that the whole secondary, I don't think is a pressing need, but I think you'll see some new players in at some positions there.
With, like you said, especially with just backing up and depth at those positions is important. So now I move to a position where I believe we both think is a high position need, maybe not the most important, but the linebacker position. If you look at, if you watched our free agency episode, you know that there's a lot of linebackers on our team right now that are going free agents. Big names, like Preston Brown, who we both really like. But if you want to go down that list real quick, we can do that.
You have Leonard Alexander, who's 34, going on 35. He's more of, kind of put him in the defensive end position because they used him. He was starting linebacker last year.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the year, they started to put him as more of a rush end because his strength isn't in coverage.
Right.
He was better at rushing off the edge. So I kind of put him in that tweener where he could be possibly a defensive end, which would help us there. He plays all the special teams, counts as like $3 million against the cap. So I like him there. So we did Leonard Alexander, Preston Brown. Everybody knows Preston Brown, our starting middle linebacker. Yeah. Played 99.1% of the snaps last year.
That's crazy. That's just insane.
And the only snaps that he was out was the Saints game.
Yeah.
And I believe it was 10 snaps.
Yeah.
So, and that was a blowout, so they sat for it.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't for injury. It wasn't for like to prove a point or anything like that. Like it was just because you're getting blown out. There's no need to keep him in the game. So.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
Yeah.
Somebody I think we have to sign.
Absolutely.
He's 25 years old.
Absolutely.
There's no linebacker in free agency that we can get to fill
that would fill that void. Yeah.
There's not one that has his talent level. I think.
No.
I like Derek Johnson.
Yeah.
But he's like 30 years old.
Yeah, he's a little
He'd
older.
be a stopgap guy. Yeah. You can get Brown, sign him. Maybe you do a 3 or 4 year deal and let him hit the market again, so you can kind of double dip on that.
Yeah.
But he's a long-term answer at linebacker.
Yeah.
If we don't get him, then you have to look that's a very pressing need because McDermott likes playing 2 linebackers out on the field at the time. So you have him and Milano.
Yeah.
Which
I really like Milano.
Milano had an awesome rookie
year. Did. He really did. He came up big, and I believe it was a 5th round pick.
I think so.
Yeah, 5th round pick. So I just think that's great because we have 2 5th round picks this year, and people are like, well, 5th round picks don't matter. Well, we got Milano, so
every pick matters.
Absolutely. But yeah, going back to Brown, like you said in the last video, 144 tackles, tied for the league lead in tackles last year. I mean, that's just, you can't replace that.
No,
that's not replaceable. Yeah, he's a tackling machine. He doesn't miss tackles, so
he doesn't miss tackles. He doesn't miss games.
Nope.
Everybody has tried to write him off.
Yep.
He came in and he was going to sit behind Keith Rivers for a year. No, he took Keith Rivers' job.
Right.
So then each year you keep switching the defense and defensive coordinator, and Preston Brown really doesn't fit. He doesn't do this well. He doesn't do that.
Right.
This past year, Reggie Ragland's going to come in and take his job. He's coming off the ACL injury. He's going to take his job. We're going to get rid of Preston Brown. It just didn't work. You can't get rid of the guy. You can't find anybody better than him.
Nope.
He finds a way. He learns his scheme.
Yep.
He plays hard.
He's a fighter.
Yeah. He does his job. He does what's called upon him. He'll figure a way out. I believe last year he always had candy in his pocket. He'd wear a sweatshirt at practice, and he'd always have candy. Well, he stopped eating candy. He dropped 10 pounds. He didn't go to Wendy's anymore.
Sure.
Like, he just figures out a way, and he'll do whatever it takes to be on the field.
Right.
And to play. Like, he'll, if he is injured, he's playing through it because he had 99% of the snaps last year.
Exactly.
The years before that were like 96 and 97. So he finds a way to be there.
So I would love to keep him. Going down our list, we have next would be Ramon Humper. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Free agent coming up this year. Again, he got lost in coverage a lot. I felt like I'm not the biggest fan of Humper, but I don't know how much interest he garners. So if we kept him, I'm not sure. Yeah. And then again, with the holes that linebacker has, maybe we do keep either him or Alexander. I would prefer Alexander over Humper, just because of the veterans leadership. But Ramon Humper probably gone in my opinion. So
he started out the year outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Ahead of Milano.
Right.
And Milano really, his athletic ability allowed him to take that job.
Right.
And
absolutely.
He's off and running with that. He's going to be the starting linebacker there. So Humper would add some depth there.
Mm-hmm.
He is 30, so I can see them moving on, trying to get a little younger there.
Right.
And you have Dion Lacey, who played mostly special teams.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be going into his 2nd year.
Yep. We have him under contract.
Yep.
So we'll be keeping him probably just to add special teams. I think. I don't know. Obviously, we're not at practices, so maybe he's improving. But I think the special teams need is there. So.
And then Matt Milano, who we talked about a little earlier.
Yep.
He's our starting outside linebacker. And usually if it's 2 linebackers set, it's Milano and Preston Brown.
Right.
So
right, and we're set there. I think Milano's earned that starting job. So really, what we're looking at as far as the need would be another linebacker on the outside. If you have Preston Brown, Milano, and someone like that.
Another athletic linebacker. We have linebackers, but they're, or coverage linebackers aren't really that good. I love Preston Brown, but his coverage is
absolutely.
He's more of the thumper in the middle, but he has the athletic ability to get back in coverage and stuff like that. But you just need somebody on the outside to take some of those quick backs away. That way you can put him on a tight end or something like that.
Yeah.
But with Milano there, you have it on one side. It'd be nice to have it on the other side too.
And looking at our defense from last year, we did finish 20th against the pass, which isn't good. But we also finished 29th against the rush, which is worse. So when I'm looking at free agent linebackers, I am kind of looking for more of a run stop linebacker. To be honest, come into the holes and fill the gaps.
Well, that's why I think it's such a pressing need to get Preston Brown re-signed.
Yeah,
because he can do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like he has athletic ability and he's big enough to stop the run. So, and that's why I think if we lose him, it's really going to be huge.
It really hurts. Really hurts. Yeah. So we have a couple other linebackers who are more of tenure guys or whatnot. Tenure guys, right? So we have Tanner Vallejo.
They drafted him last year from Boise State.
Right.
He's another one of those guys that kind of special teams. He played a little bit last year with some injuries.
Okay.
He's just a role guy.
Yeah, right.
At this point in his career.
Yeah. And again, he can improve, but how much improvement? Like, we're not going to name him our starter to start next year. You know what I mean? So a special teams guy, definitely a start. We have him under contract, I believe, for another year.
Should be another 2-3
2 to 3 years. Okay. So we have him under contract still, so there's nowhere there, and it's not a huge loss. Like, it's not for a lot of money, so we're good there. And then we have Xavier Woodson-Luster. I don't know much about him.
They signed him to a future free agent deal.
Okay.
So he'll be under contract this year.
Okay.
Guy they wanted to take a look at.
Absolutely.
I can't remember if he was on their practice squad this past year or not.
Okay.
But really, when you look at it, as far as the linebackers, the key ones are Alexander, Brown, and Milano.
Right.
Right there, other than that, you really don't have much behind them.
Behind it. Yep.
And you have one really athletic outside linebacker.
Yeah.
You have more of a rush end in Alexander. And you have the thumper in Brown.
Right.
And the key, he runs the defense, he calls the plays. To keep that continuity that we talked about earlier with Frazier.
Yep, absolutely.
Brown.
Gotta keep some players in there.
Yeah.
Because, not only are you talking about bringing in a new outside linebacker, you're also talking about, again, a guy in Milano, same as with White. Still, this is only his second year. Like, he needs that presence. He needs someone there. It's good to have coaches who know what they're talking about, but sometimes players are going to lean on players to be like, hey, a lot of times when you're talking about players watching film, they're watching film together. So Preston Brown might see something in Milano and say, hey, do this, do that, just to help him out.
I mean, the coaches are always there.
Right.
But when you're in the locker room and you're hanging out with the guys.
Right. Yeah, you definitely want that continuity as well. So I would love to see, we both love to see Preston Brown stay for more reasons than just his on-the field ability also. But so we're talking about another outside linebacker that we would need filled, and then again going into depth. We don't have too much depth. Lorenzo Alexander would more add to the depth side of things, maybe be a third down rusher or something like that. But
man, another thing too is one of my favorite guys who left, I believe 2 years ago, was Nigel Bradham. He's a free agent.
Free agent for Philly. Right? Yeah, in Philly right now.
So that could help us with outside linebacker. That could
Absolutely.
get that core back together. I'd be really happy to see him because he's athletic enough. And he's a hard hitter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Philly, I think, is going to have some cap issues this year.
I
believe they're right around the cap, or they're going to be over as of now because they did a lot of signing of their free agents through the year last year. They extended them. So.
You're right. Philly is over the cap currently, so they're not going to be able to have that free agency cap space to sign somebody as a big name free agent, including Bradham, who played well for him. I don't think he played. He wasn't like he's not going to be on the field the whole time, but he did play well for him when he was on the field.
Yeah, I like Bradham because I think he's versatile. Yeah. He could probably play middle linebacker. He'd be undersized.
Yeah, right.
He's an athletic outside linebacker that could really help us. like I said, I wish he would have never left, but
Yeah.
you know,
And
at that time we had Rex in a 3-4 system and he didn't fit.
Didn't fit the system, which
So,
I know you hate the 3-4 system, so I know you're upset about that. I'm upset about that for other reasons. I mean, you know, we had Jim Schwartz in 4-3. We were top 5 defense.
Well, it set us back.
Yeah, it set us back. Just bring.
Well, 3 years if you look at it, because
Yep.
2 years with Rex,
Yep.
I think we could have been a playoff team a little earlier.
Absolutely.
Which,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's over with now. So
Right. I don't disagree with you at all. In fact, I remember at the start of last season when Rex was on NFL Countdown or whatever he does, he talked about how the Bills were a playoff team, and I was like, so you basically underachieved. You're saying you underachieved with them, is what you're saying, and he did. I truly believe that. So, but yeah, there are other linebackers in free agency we can talk about, and like you said, there's that Smith from Georgia in the draft, or
Raekwon Smith from Georgia. He flies sideline to sideline, so that's a possibility. But I'm thinking he's a top 15 pick.
Right, yeah.
There's Rasheed Evans from Alabama.
Yeah.
Who could kind of fill the Preston Brown mold.
Right.
So if you want to stay at 21, 22, maybe that's who you go.
Yeah, I saw some mock drafts, which we'll do ours a little bit later, but I saw some mock drafts giving us Evans, and I've been watching Alabama again. I don't follow college football until around draft time. Then I'm like, okay, let's watch this stuff. So I don't watch him play all the time. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm sold on Evans as of yet.
We've had some bad luck with Alabama players.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of like, let's stay away.
Right.
I mean, there's a kid I liked from the Senior Bowl, Fred Warner from BYU.
Yes.
Athletic.
I did watch that in the Senior Bowl. Yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
We'll see where that could go. Maybe that'd be a late round.
Right.
And that's something. I mean, we're going to have to do something there.
Absolutely.
You know, it is a pressing need, but it gets less pressing if we can get Brown back.
Right.
So
getting Brown back puts us more a little bit at ease. And it's like, okay.
I mean, it will eat some of our cap money up. And
Yep.
As of right now, we're at like 29 million. There's other ways to get some more cap money, but
which we'll talk about more on the offensive episode, because most of our cap space that we can gain is on that side of the ball. So yeah, we'll talk about that. But that's the way our linebackers look at the present time. Again, we're looking outside linebacker, we're looking depth, and again, let's sign Preston Brown.
Yeah.
Big need there to sign Preston Brown. If we do not sign Preston Brown, our linebacker need goes from, okay, we need a linebacker, to, okay, we need to address this now. So we'll see what happens there. And then obviously with free agency, we'll see if we even pick up one of these guys in the draft. If we see us picking outside linebacker in free agency, then obviously we're not looking for a linebacker immediately in the draft. We'll go somewhere else with that. So.
Yeah, and that's what this draft and this free agency, a lot of people are going to look at. And I think it's going to be mostly defense.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this is where we have all our holes.
Yep.
And all the pressing needs are mostly defense. So, you know, there is some on offense. So don't get upset if you don't see us going crazy on offense this year. I believe that'll be the following year.
Right.
But we need to get the defense addressed and
absolutely.
stabilize for the next 4 years
Absolutely.
or so.
Yeah. So now moving in onto the defensive line. So we'll start with the defensive ends and then move to the defensive tackles. So defensive ends, we'll start by kind of explaining what our situation is there. So if you want to lead that off.
We have Cappy, who they signed him last year after some injuries. He played some solid minutes for us after the Shaq Lawson injury. Trying to think here. Jerry Hughes. We have him, which everybody knows who's Jerry Hughes. He does have a $10.5 million cap hit this year. I think $5.5 million is guaranteed. A lot of people have been saying about moving on from him. He did have 4 sacks last year, which is really down for him. But as of last year, we really didn't have much to take anything off of him. Like, all the pressure was on him to get some sacks. We didn't have much there, so he was getting double teamed.
Especially once Shaq Lawson goes down. There's no one else there. So Hughes is getting a lot of the double teams inside. And that's gonna affect your numbers, and people don't always think about that. They look at just the numbers and say, oh well, he was unproductive this year. Well, maybe not so much.
Everybody wants to get rid of him. I don't see that. I mean, $10.5 million for your edge rusher, it is a lot of money. But he did take a discount to stay in Buffalo. And I like Jerry Hughes. He has a high motor. He's always going. He's aggressive. So I think we need to stay with him. You have Ryan Davis, who filled in for Shaq Lawson last year. He played pretty good. I like him to keep him there. as a second defensive end, a rotation guy. Then you have Shaq Lawson, who will be coming back from the injury.
Hopefully be back next year, right?
The first year was his shoulder.
Yeah.
I forget what it was last year, but most of his career with Buffalo, he's been out. We haven't seen his potential yet.
Honestly, don't. So
at the beginning of the year, he did look good.
I thought so. Absolutely. No, I agree.
So
he did.
I think there's something to work there with him. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year, and it gives us a true identity of like what type of player he is.
Right. You don't want to. Well, first of all, he's still under his rookie contract, so we still have him for 2 years. But you don't want to get rid of him and then have him go somewhere else and prove to be the guy we thought he was when we drafted him.
Yeah, there's talk about trading him. It'd be $2.5 million.
Yeah,
that's what he's owed this year. It's not much.
It's not that much. Yeah.
And to lose a player with his potential right now, I don't see that. And there's so many needs on the defensive side of the ball.
Why add to it? Yeah. No,
I mean, everybody says we need a rush edger. I just don't see it.
Well, Shaq Lawson could be that guy. That's the thing. Like Shaq Lawson could be, because coming out of college, I mean, watch some of his college film. He was a beast, and I really liked Shaq Lawson coming out of college, preseason into the beginning of the season. I was really looking forward to seeing what he can do for us. Unfortunately, got hurt again, and so we'll see what he does this year. And yeah, I do believe if he can stay consistent, he'll take some of those double teams off Jerry Hughes, and you'll see a little bit of a different looking defensive line for us.
Eddie Yarbrough, who filled in for Shaq Lawson last year, they did tenure him. I don't know what the contract details of that is, but he is tenured, so he's back with the Bills next year, which I really like him.
Yeah, I
mean,
do.
He came in, he played high motor, fit the system well.
Young guy.
Yeah. I thought he was a little older than what he is, but he's only 24 because he did bounce around. He came in with Denver, and then I believe he spent 2 years in the CFL, and this year he was back with the Bills.
Good.
So I'm happy for him because he had a long journey to get to the NFL, and he played well for us last year.
He did. And with some of these guys, you think like, okay, last year was their first year in the system. They have that under their belts. Now let's see how they do in that second year. And this with defensive ends, I think that's like you said, with so many other holes that we need filled, we shouldn't go making more. So yeah, no, I think it's okay to keep that where it is. Now, which one of these are the free agents?
I believe everybody's under contract this year. So that's what I'm saying. Like everybody's like, well, you got to get a rush defensive end. Like I think we're fine. I think Jerry Hughes will be back to where he's usually at. Because you have Shaq Lawson on the other end.
So they can't just double. Yeah. And if they do, then Shaq has an open rush almost every time. And I'm okay with that too.
And the other thing too I like about Shaq is he's a little bigger.
Yeah.
So he'll set the edge for a run. So it should help on a run defense.
Absolutely.
So I'm really okay with the defensive end situation that we have. Most people might not be, but that's just my take on it. I like Hughes and Lawson as our starters. I like Yarbrough and Davis as our rotation guys.
Yeah.
And Cappy, I mean, he came in and played very sparingly for us. But
He wasn't someone that was in a lot, but he's someone that you can add depth, and he experienced, and he knows the system now. So those are all three very important things. So if you think defensive end is a position need, be sure to leave a comment. You can definitely disagree with us, but I think neither of us believe that defensive end is that big of a need. Where we need to go fishing for something.
I think you have your guys under contract. They played well. They're in the system. They know the system. I think we're pretty set there.
And other than Jerry Hughes, not a single one of them requires much cap space at this time. And again, especially this year, going into future years, cap space might not be as big of an issue, but going into this year, cap space is an issue. And so, that's something to look at.
So we'll move to the defensive tackles. They have Cedric Thornton, who's a free agent this year. Dolpheus Washington, free agent. Or no, he's the only one. He's the only one that is under contract. Kyle Williams, free agent. And Ricky Hatley, they signed him for a future deal. And he's a big boy. He's about 320 pounds, 6'4". So. They need some size.
They do. And this again, this kind of to me goes into our defense then too. We need defensive tackles to give those edge rushers more. Give the offensive line more to worry about inside.
And you said we're 29th in the rush defense. And a lot of that is we're not eating up the blockers for their linemen.
And so we do have a pressing. I feel like we have a pressing need at defensive tackle, especially if Kyle Williams decides to retire.
Yeah.
If Kyle Williams decides to retire, that really leaves the cupboard bare, as they say, as far as our defensive tackle positions go. I definitely see us going defensive tackle in the draft.
Yeah.
I definitely do see that.
I don't see much as far as on the roster right now.
Yeah.
There's not much there.
No.
Adolphus Washington has some spurts here and there, but he hasn't shown
consistency.
Yeah, he hasn't shown that he's going to be, you know, a guy who's going to push the pocket.
Right.
So I think that's a glaring need.
Yep.
I really like Harrison Phillips out of Stanford.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of guys that tie him to Buffalo because he's a former wrestler.
Right.
And I've been watching some of like his highlights and just the way he moves his body to get in through little cracks and stuff to run. Like he's just unbelievable. And I think that's one of the players we could target there.
Yeah, I mean, we could go free agency, but looking at the defensive tackles in free agency, I wasn't. Yeah. I mean,
I saw Terry Poe.
Poe from Atlanta, who had a good year.
He's a big guy, so that's what I kind of feel like. Okay, we need to get bigger at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
It's not so much as rushing the passer.
Right.
It's more of just getting bigger and being able to push the pocket back, or stopping the run. That's where we lacked last year.
Right, and you know, I was looking at some names. I have some names written down here where if we decide to go for agency, like I have Daquan Jones from the Colts. He was good for them last year, and I think he would add that presence. But again, what we talked about this before with free agents, you're talking 25 and older. You know, we're not talking these young guys who you can mold into a new system, and it would just be like that quick. So I like the coming out of the draft and getting the guys we want in the draft.
Another guy to keep an eye on is Star Lotulelei.
Yep.
From Carolina.
Right.
I don't think they're going to be able to keep him. He'll be 28. He'll know the system.
Yep.
So that could be a possibility.
Yep.
I think that's where we're going to spend a lot of time and money in free agency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Especially if Kyle Williams leaves, I can definitely see us picking up. How did you say his name?
Star.
Yeah. I won't be able to pronounce the name ever. So, but yeah, just because, like you said, he knows the system. He's a veteran guy, and so we'll definitely see what's there.
Kyle Williams leaving would really hurt as far as the leadership.
Yeah.
Especially because we lost Eric Wood.
Right.
So now you have that leadership you need in the locker room. Especially on the defense. Yeah. When you look at your next leader, who would be on the defensive side, it'd either be one of your safeties.
Yep. Jerry Hughes.
Yeah, Jerry Hughes or Brown. So
right. So
there's a lot of dominoes that fall there on the defensive side, and I think Kyle Williams will sign back for a year.
I think so too. I mean, we all know my love affair with Kyle Williams at this point, and so I just don't. Again, this could be bias, but I think the longer he waits to make his decision, the better it is for Buffalo. I think. I think if he was going to retire, I feel like he would have said something by now. If anything, Kyle Williams' commitment to Buffalo, both the team and the city. I mean, we've seen quotes from Kyle Williams that just say how much he loves playing for Buffalo, how much he loves the city of Buffalo, and so I feel like the longer it goes, the better off we are. And I definitely feel we'll know by the draft. Yeah. What his plans are.
A lot of the talks will start speeding up here around like the combine. That's when you start seeing like the players talking about trades or signing deals because all the agents are there.
Right. Exactly.
So everything goes a little smoothly. Yeah. You have everybody in one place. So that's what. Right around the combine, then you start to try to figure out how the roster is going to shape up, what players could be traded or cut.
Combine is 2 weeks away. So 2 weeks away. So you'll see things heat up a little bit here coming in the near future, and we'll see what players are saying going. And with free agency, I mean, even though you cannot talk to a free agent from another team until March 12th, you can talk to your free agents immediately today. I think we said that early in the video. So we'll definitely have a better idea of who's coming, staying, and who's not going to stay. So
and it's always nice because a lot of teams do get most of their free agents that are going to be back signed early.
Right.
They get that over with, and then they go into you know, they have their board of what free agents they're going to look at, what positions they need, and go down through that. But.
Yeah. So looking at all these positions, how would you rank what we need most to least? What do you think?
I go defensive tackle.
Yep.
I think that's the number one priority.
We agree there.
Linebacker, especially if Brown's gone.
Especially if Brown's gone.
I think linebacker is number 2.
I feel like if Brown leaves, it may jump to number 1. It'd be like a 1A 1B type thing at that point.
It would really, because I don't see, like, if you have linebacker, then you would only have Milano, and then there's no one there.
There's no one else.
But then when you look at the defensive tackle, you have Adolphus Washington and Hartley.
Yeah, and then,
so you're really
you're really thin.
Yeah, and both those positions. So it is a 1A 1B.
Yeah.
But
if you lose Brown because you can't sign him, and then Kyle Williams says he's going to retire, like all of a sudden, that's probably worst case scenario when it comes to those positions. You're looking at it and you say we have one guy now, we have Milano, that's it.
Yeah.
Who's been consistent. So yeah, no, I would agree.
I think it'd be easier to fill defensive tackle than it would be a linebacker.
Absolutely.
So maybe that does push linebacker, especially if you lose Brown, to the number one
spot. Yeah.
But they're pretty close there.
Yeah, but right now I would agree with you. Defensive tackles are number 1 priority. Kyle Williams stays or not, defensive tackles a huge need for us.
And Kyle Williams is 35 years old.
Exactly.
So you know he isn't the player he once used to be. He still is pretty good. He has a high motor. The guy just doesn't quit. So
I was thinking about this throughout the week. If we keep Kyle Williams, I don't see him as an every down player anymore.
No, and they did
definitely
last year. They like to rotate their defensive line to keep them fresh, and that's why I think we're in such a good situation with the defensive ends.
Right.
Because I feel like all those guys can play.
All those guys can play. They're all signed, and they can all flow in and out. So, and when you talk about the fourth quarter, if you'd had a team that's like flowing in and out against offensive tackles who've been there the whole game, that does make a difference.
Nice fresh defensive line.
Yeah, that does make a difference. So yeah, defensive tackle, linebacker, 1, 2, 3. I'd probably go corner.
Okay.
I'm not sure about you.
But I think I'd go there too.
Yeah, probably
because just as far as depth.
Yep, depth, and getting the number 2 guy in there and getting the depth.
Because it's a passing league.
Yep. 4 would probably be defensive end.
Okay.
Not that big of a need there, right? I feel comfortable with defensive end, but I mean. We didn't get to the quarterback all that much last year.
No.
Not much at all. We had the stats. We only had, I think, 27 sacks last year.
It wasn't much.
Our opponents had 47 against us, so you can see the difference there. Although that, again, we'll talk about that next week as well. That might be a little higher as well, but we'll see. And then, obviously, safety, I think, is our most comfortable position. Like, I think we're set at safety for the most part. Maybe add a little depth, but that's about it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of a toss-up between defensive end and safety. Yeah. Because I feel we have all those guys under contract.
Right.
And safety, we just need to sign.
Yeah.
You know, a guy or two. So that those two might be flipped for me, but we're all kind of on the same page as far as the defensive wise of what we think. Right. I do believe the defensive side is going to get remade this year.
A lot more attention this year.
Yeah. The draft is mostly going to be defense unless we make a crazy trade.
Right. If you see us, if we trade the 21 and 22 pick and move up, we know what we're getting, right? I mean, it's not to be to get a linebacker. Even if Preston Brown goes, I don't see us going linebacker there.
Especially of what they're talking about. Now, if we're only moving up 5 spots or something,
that's different, right?
Depending on what quarterbacks are going. But if you're moving up pretty far,
spots,
you know you're going to have to give up a lot, and when you give up a lot, it has to be for the right guy. And
And here's the issue, which we'll get into more next episode, and when we talk about the draft as well. Like, it's not gonna be as simple as 21 and 22, 4 or 5. Like, we're gonna have to give up a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and we're talking possibly even another number 1 pick, or first round pick.
I did see a report of us trading 1 and 2, 21 and 22, a second rounder, and then a first for next year to trade up to get Josh Rosen.
Right. So
as of right now, that's who everybody says Buffalo's. That's their
that's their guy.
We'll see.
Which again, we'll talk about more come next episode when we talk offense. When we talk about the draft, we'll know a lot more. When we do our mock drafts, we'll know a lot more as far as Buffalo's needs. But I agree with you that defense will definitely be the way we go most of the draft. Maybe we can trade down, get more picks, and if we get more picks, maybe we can fill more needs, both offensively and defensively. But yeah, so as far as our take, that's our take. So we want to know your take. Where do you think we fit? You might disagree with us as far as defensive ends or something like that, but we want to know. So leave a comment. Again, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video. How does that work, But yeah, so just be sure to do that, and we'll see you next time.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.